Once France is occupied, Hitler turns his attention to an invasion of the British Isles, but he needed to soften them up first. We're going to call this the Battle of Britain. Meanwhile, the United States is starting to prepare for a possible war. And one of the things that they heard was that the Germans were working on a new weapon that would use atomic energy. The Americans were alerted to this by the Albert Einstein, who had been Prussian, which was then part of Germany. He's the scientist that came up with the theory of relativity. And a few others alerted the United States to this. And the United States began working on the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was this, it was designed to build an atomic weapon before the Germans could. And they're going to unleash a power that they didn't quite understand at the time. And it's going to help eventually end World War II by dropping bombs on Japan, but it's going to have an even more devastating impact on the post-World War II war. Now, the Battle of Britain, getting back to that, this is a series of German air raids against the southern British cities, places like London, Manchester, the places that were important for industrial manufacturing. Hitler thought that it was going to soften up the British so that he could then cross the English Channel and invade Britain. It was referred to as the Blitz. It was these nightly air raids where the German Air Force, called the Luftwaffe, would cross the English Channel, drop bombs. It leads to things like blackouts, where the cities would have all their lights turned off so that it was harder for the German Air Force to find them. But more importantly, the Royal Air Force was using new technologies like radar in order to locate the Germans, because the Germans attacked at night. The Royal Air Force was able to find the German Luftwaffe and just decimated that Air Force. There's a little bit of mythology that comes out of this. The British said that the Royal Air Force was force-feeding the Royal Air Force pilots carrots to make their night vision better, but that was actually a secret because they didn't want the Germans to know about the radar. So a couple of fun things there. Hitler is going to abandon his planned invasion of the British Isles, which is really helpful for the Americans because we were worried that if Britain fell, then the United States would be targeted next. Instead, the Germans are going to turn on the Soviet Union, which seemed like Hitler's masterstroke, and it's going to be the thing that it becomes his undoing.